So yeah, we start with the practical, like we'll have some basic understanding how pandas works. And this is a basic version, like basic things. Going forward, we will deep dive into pandas as well. So to install pandas, we need to um, um, use this command like pip install pandas. And I'm using this in my local environment, I'll be using like this will be installed in my um, virtual environment, like whatever virtual environment I created. No, so my virtual environment name is environment underscore virtual environment. So I am installing this pip install pandas in that virtual environment. So we'll be importing pandas as PD. So import pandas as PD, and this import matplotlib is an visualization package. So we will have small understanding of practical implementation of pandas, and then we will go into this visualization like matplotlib and seaborn. These are the two visualization packages which are most preferred and which is most used in Python. So I'm importing importing pandas as PD. Like as I said earlier, no, like you can use PD as anything you want. Like, but this is the standard version used across the industry, and it is common across the globe as well. So I'm just using the same thing. So import pandas as PD and import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. And I'll tell you what is this matplotlib when we are actually discussing about the data visualization, like matplotlib and the seaborn. So first and foremost thing is we'll be creating a data frame. So you can you will be aware of how like Python dictionary. No? The same way we are going to create a data frame out of uh, this dictionary itself. So dictionary is nothing but it will be in the form of keys and values. So name is a key and the list is Kunal, Ankit, all these things are values, which is in the form of list. And age is again a key, and this is my list values like test score underscore one and test score underscore two is a key for me, and actually these are the values which is in the form of list. To create a data frame, we'll be using a pandas data frame. Like we'll be importing this package pd.dataframe, and we'll be actually passing the. So if you place this and if you click on control tab, no, you will get to see, you will see what is this data frame method actually contains, like the parameters this data frame method as of. Like you can have data, index, columns, and the d type if you wanted to mention any specific d type, no, so integer, float, object, all those things. And copy by default every this is false and this is none. So now actually passing the data, and I'm stating that this are my columns name, like key values are my columns name, and I'm giving this into the columns name. So if I execute this, no, I'll execute this and then this. So this is my data frame. If you wanted to see what is this type of DF, no, you can basically use, you can use this method. So type of DF, if you see, no, like this type of DF type is data frame. So it consists of 4 columns and 5 rows. Name, age, test score underscore two is the column name of this data frame. And this are the index, like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is my index of this data frame. And this is the column and actual values like Kunal, age, test score one and test score two is are the actual values of this particular data frame. So this data frame is in the form of matrix like rows and columns. So this is what data frame is. And you can get a basic like a minimum stats detail like sum, mean, median, all those things you will get it from this function itself. If you wanted to um, so if you wanted to access a particular value, no, so if I wanted to access only the name column of this data frame, so now you can use this method like df open square bracket, and you can add this key value like name is the key value, no, so I'll be giving this df name, and then you can access all the particular value in the name column alone. If you wanted to check the type of this uh, function, no, you can use type method and you can execute it, control shift, you can execute. So this is in form of series is again nothing but you can assume it as an numpy array, like it will be in the array form. So you can access you can access name like this, also like this also you can access name. So basically this two thing will give fetch you the same results. Now we'll be seeing what are other parameters, like other the sum. If we wanted to get the sum of a particular column, like age, you wanted to get the sum of the total data frame, you can basically use this function df.age.sum to get the sum value of age column and the mean value of this test score one and cumulative sum. So basically you can get all the other basic statistics like sum, mean, count, and cumulative sum, all those things. And describe as an actual method which is present inside the pandas function. This will give you the all the like individually. Will if you wanted to get individually, you have to give this some mean, all those things. So this describe function will get all the basic statistics of a data frame. So what is the count? What is the mean? Mean is across all the mean is across the data frame. So what is the standard deviation? What is the minimum value? What is the 25 percentage, 50%? Like this particular thing will give you about will give you whether there is an outlier present in the data set. All those things we can find it from this describe single command itself. And then we are getting the count of the test score value alone. Test score value and test score, what is the minimum value in the test score one. So value is 2, no, so we'll get the same value here 2. And what will be the maximum, and what is the medium value, what is the variance of it, what is the standard deviation. If you use describe method, no, this will be across like with the data frame itself, complete data frame. And this thing, no, it is very specific to this feature alone, like test score one only. What is the count of the test score, what is the minimum value, maximum value, medium of the test score one, variance of the test score one, and what is the standard deviation, and what is the skewness and kurtosis of the test score one. All those things we will be getting it from this particular command itself. This is very specific. This is only to this feature name. And now we'll be checking what is the correlation of the data frame which we created. So basically age correlation is again only for the numerical values and not for the categorical. So name will get disconnect. Name, uh, like it will not consider name while creating a correlation map. So this is what like age column and age column, how much it is correlated, and age column and test score one, how much it is correlated, and age and test score underscore two, how much it is correlated. The same way it is for the rest of the things. If you see when age, like this is past negatively correlated and this is positively correlated. You will understand more about this correlation when you actually start with linear regression, or when you start with the machine learning. No, you'll get to know more about this correlation, how to check correlation, what is positive, what is negative correlation, when to remove highly correlated values, when to keep all the values, all those things you will be you'll come to know one like in linear regression algorithm. There we will be explaining, or like we will understand basically correlation in and out of this correlation function. And again the covariance of a matrix. So both basically this thing also you will come to know on the linear regression side. And then this is one of the method. So there are many methods. If you open and see, like inside pandas data frame, there are many methods like pfd dot and tab. If you click on tab, like there will be many methods. Out of that, I'm using this method, how to rename the value, rename a particular value in the data frame. So like there are many other data functions also. Read range, read CSV, read all those things, read CSV, read Excel. These are the other different formats present inside Excel itself, Parquet file, pickle file, all those things. So now if I wanted to get a data frame like this, so this is my data frame. So I'm just renaming this 0 to title and 1 to author. So I have created a data frame here where it doesn't have any column name. So column name is 0 and 1 and index is 0, 1, 2. So I just wanted to add or rename this 0 and 1 to respective title names, like column names. So I'm renaming the columns as 0 as title and 1 as author. And if I use this parameter, no, in place equal to 2, we don't need to assign this value to any data frame. So we can see without removing, we'll remove this and we'll see what is the actual result. And if you can see, this is my df. I have renamed it, and after executing this dm, like after executing this condition, now again I am trying to execute this. You'll see what happens here. So the original, so no, whatever we change, no, it is not getting reflected in this original data frame. It is just reflecting, and it is stopped at this stage itself. It is not getting reflected in the original data frame. To have that in a, to replace this in an original data frame, we'll be using this condition, in place equal to 2. So wherever you use this, no, like how many times you execute the same condition again and again, you'll get the title and author name instead of zeros and one. This is the one of the method which I wanted to show you. That's it. Like there are many methods and many functions available inside pandas. So we'll be seeing it one by one. So is there any questions or doubts for now?
So I have one question. Now, if let's say now this is data which has been created.
Yeah.
Now, if there is a data which needs to be pulled into this, like there is a ready CSV file, or there is a ready Excel file, or any file, or a SQL file, right? How do we pull in? Can you just, on the top when you go, can you just explain them that?
Yeah, I have that in the, like once the actual EDS has, like I have that.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, then you can continue after that.
Yeah. Okay. So when I was discussing about pandas yesterday, like I showed you the two types. So one is series and the other one is data frame. So panda series is nothing but it is very similar to an array, NumPy array. And whereas pandas data frame is again a collection of, it is in the form of matrix with rows and columns value. So now I'm creating a series with this values. Like I am, you can assume like labels is A, B, C. Label is nothing but you can assume like this 0, 1, 2. No, it is index for this. Like similarly, we can have labels also. And I have three values like 10, 20, and 30 in my list. And I have created an array, np.array. Np is nothing but numpy. So I'll import this package also, like import numpy as np. So I am creating an array, and then this d, it is in the form of this dictionary, like key and values pair. So I have executed this, and now like I'm creating a series out of my list alone, like with this three different values. Now I'm creating a series. So this is index 0, 1, 2 is my respective index, and this is the actual value 10 and 20. So the next thing is, now I'm creating the same list, but the instead of zeros 1 and 2, I am having index as A, B, C to get this. No, like so if you see, I'm specifically passed index as my labels value, that is A, B, C. So after executing it, it will be A is 20, A is 10, B is 20, and C is 30. So the next thing is I'll be using this array to create an series in pandas. So even after actually I created an array using NumPy. No, out of that NumPy, I'll be using I'm using that array to form an panda series. So if you wanted to have labels or anything like column name, all those things, so you can basically pass that value and you can get the index also. So this is how series panda series is formed. It is basically formed from array, or you can pass a specific list also. So these are the ways we can pass an arrays, a panda series. And like in pandas data frame or in panda series, always index will be the key to access values. Like the same way, I'm creating a panda series here with 1, 2, 3, 4 is my value, and index is USA, Germany, USSR, and Japan. If you see, this is my panda series. So the same, so we can create panda series like this, as well as we can pass the column name also here, like columns equal to country. So this is pandas series, no? So we don't have column name here. So if I click shift plus tab, no, you can see the data, the index and d type is actually the name and copy and paste. These are the parameters associated inside this panda series function. So if you wanted to see what is this index, no, you can go through it and you can read on it. Like data is, it will take array like IEEE's dictionary or scalar value. So on index is again, what is index value must be hashable and have the same length as data. So you can basically read about the different parameters passed inside this panda series: data, index, d type, name, copy, what is all those things will be present inside this, and then example also given out of this, constructing a series, all those things. So you can, like, every details will be present inside this method itself. You have to just click shift plus tab and you'll get to know more about this in detail. So the next thing is we'll be using data frame. We'll see what is data frame now. So data frame is again nothing but it will be in the form of tables, like rows and columns, like you might have seen about the SQL database, all those things. So the same way. So I'm using importing pandas as 2D and NumPy, and I'm just, the purpose of using this random seed is to get the I'm using this random function. Random function is nothing but it will create values of its own to get the same values again and again, or how many times if you execute to get the same values. I'm using this np.random seed. So when I use this, no, like the values will be same even after executing for many times. No, the same set of values will be generated. That is the purpose we are using this. And if you see, like I have created a data frame that is, it has 5 rows and 4 columns. Random function gives 5 rows and 4 columns. First thing, no, this mentions rows value and this is the column value, like 5 rows and 4 columns, and index is A, B, C, D, E, and columns is again W, X, Y, Z. So if I use this and split function, it will actually split according to these things, W, X, Y, Z. So I have created a data frame here, and now we will see how to index, like how to get the value of this data frame. So first and foremost thing is we'll be accessing the individual value, W, X, Y, Z. So to get an individual value, we have to mention, like I have showed you before, no, df.w and dfw will get the values on this data frame alone. It will be in the form of series. And if you wanted to get 2 column values like W and X, you have to form this inside a list, like both the thing should be list. Then only we'll get the both the values. If I'm not using one single square bracket, if I'm using only one single square bracket and not the 2, no, then it will give me an error because it is 2 different column values. And like for that I need 2 it should be in 2 data, like 2 list I embedded in. And this is like previously also shown, df.w and df square bracket w will give you me the same. So this is one of like many approaches, like we can get many results, we can get same results using many approaches also. And this is one of the approach, like we can use either this or this one, and that will be in the series type. So now based on this 2 columns, df x and d of x and y, I'm creating a new column and I'm assigning it to a column name as new. Df new equal to df of w plus df of y. Basically the combined value of w plus y will be fetched, will be stored into this df, and we will see that here. So 2.7068 plus 0.90 will once add, when you are adding this result, no, we will get this 3.6. We'll see that here now. So basically all this value will be present here. So for all the columns, no, it will be like this only. And if I wanted to drop any particular column from this data frame, so if I drop, we can use this drop function, drop, and this is the column name. So if you wanted to remove the column name, you can, if I wanted to remove column name Zeno, I can use this function. And the axis is, if axis is 0, it is mentioned to row, and if axis is 1, it is mentioned to the column name. So now I'm mentioning Z and I'm giving the column name axis as 1. So if you see WXYZ, Z is dropped. The same way, since I didn't use the in place parameter equal to true, or I didn't assign this to any particular data frame, no, it will still present here to get that result like in place equal to 2. So the same thing. And similarly, like there is other parameters, and if you wanted to drop e row from this data frame, you wanted to pass e row, basically the index of the row, and the axis equal to 0. So after that, if you see, so basically after removing it, e column got removed from the data frame permanently. And if you wanted to get the particular value from the data frame, like suppose if I wanted to you get the particular value of a alone, the index of a, you can use this lock. There are the three functions like lock, ilock, and IAX. So basically to get the lock will be working on the value like index num, and ilock will be in the label. So if you see the df.lock, like it will give the value of w, x, y, and z. And similarly, if I use ilock, ilock is again based on the position based on the position instead of the label. So this thing was, we pass the index of the label. So in ilock, we don't need to pass the index of the label. We just wanted to pass the value. Like it is 0, this is 0, and B is 1, C is 2. A is 0, B is 1, C is 2, and D is 3. The data frame value starts from 0. The row will start from 0, and column also will start from 0. So if you wanted ilock, no, we'll get the C value -2, 0, all those lock, ilock. Similarly, lock and can be used to access values from columns as well. Columns as well, and the rows as well, both the things. So if I use df.lock b of y, it will go to here b, and it will get the value of y here, like -0.8407. So basically you wanted to get value like this, and this again ab and wy. So it will fetch you the result of a of w and b of y, a of w and b of y, and a of y and b of y. So basically it will get the values of this data frame. So if you wanted to select value, this is my data frame, and if you wanted to select particular value which is greater than 0, all those things, like in the out of this data frame, I wanted to select a value which is greater than 0. So in that case, if I use like this, I'll be getting value in the form of Boolean. To get the actual value, we wanted to pass data frame inside, like we wanted to pass the condition inside the data frame. We use this, and then it will show me like what are the values which is greater than 0. We'll get the actual results, and the results, like the negative results, it will be in the form of NAM. Like it will impute in the form of missing values. And the same way we can use it across the column also. A column, and this is according to the specific column y. Same way it is specific to y and x. So basically it will take w, y, and x, and rest all the other, like it will drop z, and it will compare that value, and the value which is greater than 0, it will basically fetch the results of that value in y and x column. So the same way, this type, it will fetch the results of 0 and y from this entire data frame. So this condition, no, like there is no data satisfying this two condition inside the data frame. So basically we got a null value in this for this condition. So these are the some basic methods which is present inside the Pandas series and Pandas data frame. There are many other approaches which we will be exploring a lot in the doing EDA sessions. Yeah. So is there any questions for now or?
Spandana, Zaira, anybody? Any questions?
Clear.
Clear? Okay. One thing I would like to always tell to anybody is, say DF when anybody is using, it's a standard name. It can be anything. You can name whatever you want and it becomes the data frame. So whatever name you have given to the data frame, right? It's basically to for you to understand properly what it is. And whenever you are changing any data frame, like if you want to rename, like if DF becomes DF1 for the new data frame, you can assign that and start working on that. So the old data frame DF will remain as the old one. So whenever you want to retrieve any data, all right. Now, for example, now he has dropped a column and he's changing, he's working on that. Now the DF has changed. Now if you start after this cell, after 67, if you run the cell for DF, it's not going to give you the DF which was there in the first go. So when he's dropping, or when you are dropping cells, if you want to change the name, right, you will have both the data frames, right? So the way you want to work around, you will have to really think on like how exactly you want your data frame to look like, and from there you want to change it. Okay.
Okay.
Zaira, understood?
How to change the data frame name?
Just name it as like, for example, okay, Vignesh, can you just go to the drop section where you drop the data? Where you have put in place equals true. Yeah, that's it. You can rename, or you can. So if you say, right, wherever, when you say DF, you are assigning. So here, let's say a DF dot rename. Just before that, or let's copy that, just copy that entire cell, and paste it there. Yeah, correct. Place it here in this cell. Yeah. Now come to the front, I mean the beginning, and say, let's say I want to rename this entire section into second data frame. So all I will do is df1 equals to, so my new data frame will be df1. If I run this, okay, so now df1, if I just want to see what I write df1 head or df1 . Okay, so now df1 is a new data frame.
So
understood?
Yes.
So it's just like, okay,
Yes,
you are renaming that and you're just putting it as. So whenever you are doing area, df1, if I say, instead of df1, if I put it as, let's say, Kishore 1, the data frame will be named as Kishore 1. So it does not matter what you name. Whatever name you have put, in the future, the system is going to pull that according to that name and how you have spelled it. You understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Actually, like there is another approach also. So you can copy a data frame. So like this is my data frame, right? DF is my data frame. So if you wanted to store this in a new data frame, or you wanted to store this in a new variable, no? So you have to use df.copy and assign this data frame into a new value like df underscore value or something like this. So basically, whatever the data which is present inside this data frame, no, it is soft copied into this df value, and then if you execute it, and basically you can use this value from like for further analysis. Like if you don't want to make any data change to this data frame, but you wanted to do some EDA, or you wanted to do some you wanted to have some basic understanding of the data, so you can copy this data frame to a new value, and you can use this data frame going forward, and you don't need to touch this, because whatever, like if you see, like df value has 3 records. So I'm dropping the third record in my value. Like second record, I'm dropping from the uh, from this data frame underscore value. So I'll drop it, and so basically I need to give. So my df underscore value will have only 2 values, but my df, it will have actually there will be no changes to this df. It will have 3 records. So you can just make a copy of it and assign it to a new value, and you can do the exploratory, like you can do whatever you wanted to do here, like dropping value or adding some few more values. You can do all that exercise to this data frame, and that will not have an impact on your original data frame. So it is always better to create a new data frame and to do all those research part or exploring part on that copy of the data frame. So this will not have any impact on your original data frame, or you don't need to restart your kernel from the beginning, or you can just be cautious about your data. That's it. You can create a new data frame. So this like that is pandas, no? So we'll be using pandas and numpy, scipy, all those things for our EDA purpose. So like I'll just start with the introduction. So this is very a small introduction about EDA. So there are many advanced techniques, and day by day there are many research going on EDA, specifically to EDA, and there are many new techniques are coming into the market. So for now we will start with this EDA, like basic understanding of EDA. So for that I'm using this CSV file. So I'll tell you what does this CSV is. So this is my CSV file. So I'm using pandas read CSV function to import this into this Jupyter notebook. So we can see what are the methods or what are the parameters provided by this read underscore CSV function in from pandas. So if you can see, like these are the main parameters. For now, I'm not using any parameter here. Like I'm just importing the data file alone, and there are other parameters like delimiter, header, names, index column, use column. Like if you wanted to use particular columns alone, no, you can use this parameter and name and use that list features column inside this use columns, and squeeze prefix, D type, all those things. These are the these are the methods provided by pandas in read underscore CSV function. So basically, if you wanted to understand each and everything, you can go into this documentation and you can you like read it and basically understand out of it. But this is the standard approach. Like we'll be using this approach, but when you are using read underscore Excel, no, we'll be using read Excel is read underscore Excel is different and read underscore JSON is different. So basically, my CSV file which I took now is CSV, so I'm using this function. If it is Excel or if it is JSON, all those things. So there are a wide and rich of libraries which is present inside Pandas. So you can make use of it to read what are the files you wanted to read inside. So this is the first 5 rows. You can use this head function to view the top 5 rows in the data frame. So this is the top 5 rows in the data frame. So if you see passenger ID, that is, and the description of that ID. So unique ID, number of passengers. So this is the description of this passenger ID, and surveyed is whether the passenger survived or died. This is a Titanic example of a Titanic data set. So surveyed is the target class. You can assume we have to understand whether the whether our passenger or survived or died in the Titanic crash. So P class is again passenger class name, and name is the name of the passenger, and sex is gender of the passenger, and age of the passenger. SIBSP is number of siblings, spouses, and park is again number of parents, children, and ticket is the ticket number, fare amount, cabin class, and embarked is put by the passenger embarked. Like these are the 3 different stations where passengers got embarked, all those things. So this is the description, like description of the before starting. These are the actual thing you must understand before starting with any EDA purpose. No, like you should go through this columns and what is the column is bringing into the picture. You should understand basically that also. From now, if you wanted to see some, if our the EDA which we are about to do is for the Titanic data set, and the final target class is whether the patient survived or not. So we should form an hypothesis here itself. So what are the features will be useful to predict or to finalize this survived or not? For basically, we don't need to worry about passenger ID. We are not bothered about passenger ID. We are not bothered about name, or we are not bothered about the ticket or cabin or embarked. These are the features which is not going to have an impact in our model building or doing EDA also. To cross check that, to confirm that, we will be doing the TDA, and basically we will be dropping the features which is making an impact to the model, and the features which is not going to make an impact on the model. So all those things we'll be doing. Basically the EDA is to understand the data in depth and consider the important features to our model. That's it. Apart from that, we'll be dropping other features, or we'll not consider other features. The first and foremost thing, we wanted to get the shape. So totally there are 891 records with 12 columns. Like you have to start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I started from 0 to 11. So there are totally 12 records and 891 records. If you wanted to see the last top, if you wanted to see last 5 rows, you can use this function df.tail. So if I use df.tail, it will show me the last 5 records, last 5 rows in the data frame in the CSV file. So these are the last 5 records. So 891. So it started with 0 and it ends with 890. So index is like this index. No, this the system itself will generate the index, so you don't need to worry about it. So these are the last 5 records, and these are the top 5 records of the CSV file. And if you wanted to see the columns alone, this column names alone, you can use this df.columns and basically describe, I told like the basic descriptive statistics like count, mean, standard deviation, mean, 25, 50, 75 max, all those things across the different columns, only for numerical variables or not for categorical columns. And from this info column, you can understand whether there are totally 891 records, and you can see there are some missing values also. There are some missing values here, and what is the D type, like whether passenger ID is integer, surveyed is again integer, P class is again integer, name, sex, and all those things is object. So this name we will not consider name column, but sex, like it has a male and female, like either 0 and 1. So we have to convert this male to 0 or female to 0. Either case we have to consider it, and we have to make we have to do that encoding, and we will be using that model performance, all those things. So next, I'm basically like I'll be giving you an example about what is bar plot and what is histogram plot. So before that, I just wanted to show you the basic things. That's it. So I have taken categorical plots for year, survived, sex, P class, embarked, park, all those things, and then I'm just adding a plot to the graph. Like from this, no, like there are totally 2 zeros and 1. So from this, we can see that okay, the number of passengers died, no, it is around 549, and the number of patients survived, it is 342. So basically, what is the sex of like totally male is 577, female is 317. So we are just visualizing the class and visualizing the feature and basically understanding from it. So the P classes, so first class is like there are totally 216 people from the first class and 184 people from the second class, and third class is around 491. So you will understand all those things like embarked, SC, Qs, basic, what are the count of it, and again the total siblings, park, all those things. And now we will be understanding the numerical variable distribution of plots here. So what is the pair, age, and passenger ID? So we are just giving an histogram plot. So histogram plot is nothing but we can see the spread of the data. So that's what is the spread of the data, all those things we can see it from the histogram plot. And you can see the class of interval. The interval range is from the x-axis and the frequency is on the y-axis. So from 0 to 100, there are this many people, like 350 people, all those things, like basically distribution of the data. And like from histogram, we can see a distribution of the data and the corresponding frequency and the interval ratio, all those things. And here we are using the group by function, and we are just seeing so based on these 2 classes, survived and P class and survived, we are just seeing how many people actually survived. So the P class 1, 2, 3 and survived is the respective count, like mean of the count, mean of the value, mean of the people who actually survived from the P class. So one in the P class 1 to 62% of people got survived, and in P class 2, 47, 3 is 24, the mean of the value. The same way, sex value of like sex of the mean value, like female, the people who out of survey, no, female who surveyed is around 74%, and male who surveyed is around 18%. The same way for siblings as well. And if you see one like this, to know more about this, no, you should go and see the data, like what is 1, what is 2, what like siblings, like what is type of relationship they have with the passenger, all those things. So similarly this thing. And then missing values, all outlier treatment, bivariate analysis, univariate analysis, will be seeing as a in the next section. Like going forward, we'll be seeing as every topic is very it's important, no, so we will be seeing that individually. So that's it for today's session. Like I hope you got some basic understanding of what is EDA and what impact does it made when you are actually building the model, all those things. I guess you had some basic idea on it. So is there any questions or any doubt?
No, sir.